was the major issue. And therefore, it is what I believe the committee that has been established and the probably issues that will be canvassed in the judicial system that we will need to deal with the means testing instrument, but most importantly, the information that applicants give. And the model is very dynamic in the sense that if you apply during your first year and in the course of your study, either, unfortunately, we don't pray that that happens, you lose a parent, one or both, then every year you are supposed to update the system. And that is how then the model is dynamic. It responds to the changes in the dynamics of the applicants, but also it looks at the economic situation of the applicants. Ever since this new model was introduced, government budget to education and to higher institutions of learning was increased so that many of the universities that were actually being declared insolvent, the vice chancellors of those universities have come out and have said they are coming out of the indebtedness that the old funding model had driven them to. And therefore, as we engage in this conversation, truth be told that we are not all equal in terms of economic power. That many of the students who are from the humble backgrounds could be excluded to access higher education because of the inability to pay for the higher education. And that therefore speaks to the priorities of the better plan that the government is using in running the affairs and administration of its affairs. The core principle of inclusivity, that no one will be left behind in this administration, and the students and the children from the humble background are equally brought into the fold to access education from the very basic all the way to higher education. And therefore, that is the whole logic behind the new funding model. The very finer details that I have not been able to talk about here could be issues that will be canvassed in courts and so forth. But I've just provided a broad rationale why the new funding model was introduced. It was based on fact, it was based on empirical evidence, and if anyone is seated here, you could access for the last 5 years what used to happen in the differentiated unit cost funding framework and what has happened in the new funding model starting from the year 2022, and you will be able to have a comparative analysis that is empirically informed, and you will have a conclusion that the new funding model is actually working to get many students into universities and to get many universities out of their indebtedness. Thank you.
Clap for him. It's just important to remind you guys that before HELB, there was something called HELF, established in 1952. In 1992, we reviewed that and came up with HELB. So the arguments that it has always been constant is not true. We graduated from HELF, that is the Higher Education's Loan Fund of 1952 that was changed in 1992 to come up with what we have as HELP, and now we are trying to move to a new platform. We always change to suit our situation. He spoke about equity. I need to repeat that. Equity. Carol, uko na kitu ya kusema kwa Daktari James?
Okay, Mr. James Maina, the question is, I want you to kindly advise on the available opportunity for college students in their affordable housing project.
Thank you. The, the affordable housing program is an ambitious in the government of the Republic of Kenya aiming to develop 200,000 units per year. This program is born out of a long initiative that has happened, and what has been happening in our country and in the world is that the whole world is going urban, and that's our future. Then, if our future is urban, we must make deliberate, intentional initiatives and strategies to ensure that our people will be living in urban areas that have services, and they have houses that are adequate with reasonable sanitation standards. Our country, Kenya, is expected to hit 50% of its population living in urban areas by 2030. Within a few years, majority of our people will be living in urban areas. But what is happening in our urban areas? People definitely come to urban areas. They need places to live, and that is what is happening. Today, in our urban areas, we have over 50% of the population living in either slums or informal settlements with extremely very expensive living conditions. Why do I say so? A person living in a slum or in an informal settlement pays, and this is data that has a record, pays over 100% for the cost of water as compared to a person living in a formal settlement. And of course, the cost of power, sometimes through illegal connections, is also double the actual prices. Meaning, the poor people are paying more for services than the people who are well or who are doing better. And the initiative of affordable housing to realize the development of 200,000 units must have a capital base, and this capital was achieved through the Affordable Housing Fund Act. Remember, there is always a question, why do you want to build the house for me? Why the government has to be involved in building houses and no one lives? Everyone goes home at the end of the day. But if I say, the only number of houses that has been constructed from the demand of 250 is 50,000 by the private sector. Meaning, over the years, we have been cumulatively not getting 200,000. And as today, we have approximately 1.8 houses that requires to offset the cumulative shortages. The Act, the Affordable Housing Act, provides in its section 2, the purpose of the affordable housing is to develop houses as well as institutional housing. and what is institutional housing. The Act again further defines what institutional houses is. And institutional houses are houses that are for civil servants, police, and student accommodation. And here now comes another big challenge that we have in our country. The student enrollment by 2023 in our universities was 462,000. For TTI, TVCs, the student enrollment is approximately 408,000, meaning almost close to 1 million students we have in our universities. But again,
these are some of the challenges that we need now to surmount, because approximately only 10% of the students are accommodated in the universities. And I'll give an example of the University of Nairobi. It has an enrollment of 50,000 students.
And the number of students that are there today being accommodated in the school are only 10,000. When I passed through Hall 11, where I used to live when I was in the university in 524, I always check, and I have never seen any other hostel built almost 25 years down the line. And at that time, we were only 15,000. And this complicates the parents and the student together. When we went,
Get the opinions of the people on the affordable housing law.
the people on the affordable housing,
Parents told us,
we will support this law if only you help our students get accommodation. We are paying too much money, and this is draining our pockets. And when we took it to Parliament, they accepted, and today we have a plan to build student hostels through this fund. So, as part of our program today, we have over 300 applications from the universities, and we have shortlisted, tried to work out a program for TTI. On our phase 1 of the project, we are starting with 181 TTI, TVCs, and KMTCs spread across the country. And we are also working on 50 universities. All of these, we cumulatively, in this financial year, once we start the projects, because we have put this budget, we are going to start construction of approximately 150 beds for students. And why the interest in student accommodation? Universities worldwide do have exchange programs with foreign universities in order to build the intellect and development of education. Students require an environment that will enable them develop their intellectual capabilities. But a student living in the slum,
about instruction, struggles to feed. I've heard you say Kuinama. Luckily enough, today I've learned Kuinama. It's just to get to rent in a ranch pass. Am I right? So, if the students are taken back to a university, they will save, or the parents will save that money, and the student will have some money
to take care of his personal needs, his or her personal needs. So, for the program to be sustainable, the universities will have to pay back to the Affordable Housing Fund the amount of money that was used to construct, but over a long period of time. Meaning, when it is spread to that years, the student will be paying an affordable amount, which will be decided by the university and yourself, your student leaders. You know what will be affordable for you. That decision will be made by yourselves. And limit that money. Once the money is limited back, it creates a sustainable fund that will keep on developing more affordable hostels until this shortage is overcome. That is not the only part that the affordable housing is dealing with. The affordable housing also deals with social and physical infra. So once we go to build the student hostel, we are not going to build only the hostel, it will be accompanied by other social facilities, such as playgrounds, social hall like where we are. And this will also enable the students to develop further. When you go to housing, similarly the same. Adequate housing does not mean only a house. It means houses with other facilities, including play areas, markets, shopping center, so that we make our cities sustainable. And our cities, we have people to celebrate what we call celebrating cities, or what we call live, play, and work places. That is the ideal situation of the affordable housing, and we are making it a reality, because today we have over 124 houses going on under construction. By close of the year, we'll start handing over these houses. In Nairobi, we'll be handing over, by December, we'll be handing over 1,000 units in Mukulu. Here in Eldoret, we have over 5,000 houses ongoing. We'll be handing over, we are pushing the contractor to finish a project of 220 units here in Eldoret. We expected it to be complete by December. So it is a reality. Herein now lies the other benefit that comes together with the affordable housing program. The construction industry has a very long value chain. It's not only building. It pushes factories to produce steel. And when factories have demand for steel, they have to increase their capacity to produce, and they have to create more people for employment. And it goes on and on. Doors, windows, hedges, all the components and elements that go to a building is quite enormous. And beyond that, we are working with the TVETs and other institutions to give students practical experiences when they are learning, particularly those who are in the built environment. And we give them internships. We are learning a program of 4,000 internships to students every year. And that is our intention. And when students want to go for practical lessons, we take them to our sites. And this is a program we are working with the universities, with your lecturers, and with the ministry responsible for higher education. Let me go to another point. And this point is how you can access the houses, because we are just about to hand over. The program further has a platform called Boma Yangu. The Boma Yangu platform is to minimize to the very minimal human interaction with people who, or with citizens who want to buy a house. You only need to be 18 years and you have an ID. You take your phone, star 832 hash, and you start your home ownership journey. You'll be required a 10% deposit, and if you cannot be able to raise the 10% deposit, we have the housing board which can be able to facilitate you get a loan to get your 10% deposit. We have various typologies fit to the pocket, from people who earn below 50,000 Kenya shillings. They have a house below 1 million across the country. It doesn't matter where you are. The house, you can get it by long-term loans, by cash, or by various installments. The long-term loan is called tenant purchase scheme. The TPS will enable you to pay around 3,200 every month, and the house becomes yours. It also has houses for middle class. The middle class earning 100,000, and for the higher income earning over 100,000. This is because the levy of 1.5% to the income of the citizens or their salaries, and the income or 1.5% from the employer spreads across all income. So basically, for equitable, we have to spread it to every citizen have an equal chance of getting this house. And for the young people, immediately you finish your school, you get a job, start saving. You can encourage your parents. Maybe you are living here.
Maybe you don't have an opportunity to get a hostel in the school. If you don't, you can encourage your parents to pay into the affordable housing scheme, and you can move into that house immediately. You have saved enough to join the house. You select your unit where you want it, do the online platform I have mentioned, and you can live in that house as you are a student and pay monthly installments. The lucky thing, maybe after your school, or maybe you are working here and you have been transferred maybe to Nairobi, you don't know where to take your house. That has always been the question in many people's mind. Now, I've gotten a house. I want to go to Nakuru or to go to Nairobi. Don't worry. You plan your journey to Nairobi, find an equivalent house of the same price, select the house in Eldoret, and take the new house in Nairobi, wherever you are, or wherever you want to go. Meaning, in simpler terms, it's like you are putting your house into a low loader. You transport it through Nakuru to Nairobi. It's possible. Then, you started as a young family. You are single. Now, you have gone loud and loud. You've gotten a nice boy, young man. You have children. You have more money again because you are also growing. Because life is just about growth. You don't want to be the same static level. So how do I deal with this house? Now that I have a single room, it has a toilet, yes, it has water, but come on. Now I have a family. I don't want my child to be seeing me and my wife where we are living. And I have money. I want to enlarge my house. So this now becomes more easier because again, you get a more expensive house. Wherever you want to change the estate, you identify another house. The amount of money you have paid will be deposited to the new house. You surrender the other house, and then you move to the other better house. And that is the essence of the affordable housing program. It is real. That's what has been happening in other countries. People don't care about buying plots.
And once you finish your house, we have the Sectional Property Act, which was enacted some times years back, and enables people to own a part of the building, and you'll be issued with a title once you finish payment. If you don't want to take the 30 years period, you can pay as and when you have the money, but you take a longer period so that you can, if things go bad, you can be able to pay incrementally. So let me stop there.
Thank you.
And hope that I have answered most of the questions that you'd want. We have one point I have, this point is good, I should not have forgotten. The program is also working towards moving the Juakali sector. No, from Juakali, we cannot stay in Juakali all the years. We have set aside some of these elements in the affordable housing program or in the construction industry. All of them we have set and link-fenced in the current project that we are having, 4.4 billion worth of elements that the Juakali people can supply directly to the affordable housing. It's no longer that you'll be making one door, two doors. We are working with the Juakali sector, with the banks. We work together. They get tenders directly to supply doors. And we have cases where Juakali people have supplied doors and windows worth 100 million. People who just used to work only 10,000, 20,000 on a day or a month, but now they have sustainable supply of door and windows. And we have put them all, the Juakali, together, and we are working with the ministry in charge of micro and small enterprises in order to ensure that this work is directly given to the Juakali and micro small enterprises so that they can move to cottage industries. Let me say, most of the products that we find here, like tiles, like hedges, some of them are imported, and it is a pity for a country of 50 million people, which is moving to be developed. It is importing hedges. And we are importing them in India and China. In India, they are normally made by cottage industry. They are made from the house, packed in trolleys and brought here. We are not going to no longer be the market, or we create jobs for other people outside the country. We will create our jobs locally here, and that is what our president wants, and I believe that is what you in class you want to do once you leave the school. Thank you.
Thank you. Please clap for James Maina. For those who might actually have missed the gist of his last submission, he said that the affordable housing project is about three things. Thing one, jobs. Thing two, jobs. Thing three, jobs. Kumbe Mungu mnasikia. Now, moving on quickly, we have got Joshua Rapsang with us here. He's from the Office of the Government Spokesperson. So quickly, because we're going to the top of the hour, I'd love to remind you that the people you are talking to largely, except the SG who is here and the treasurer and a few other people here, most of these guys are Gen Zs. Now, Gen Zs are natives, digital natives. They were born in. Unlike you and I, who are millennials, and we grew through the revolution, these ones are digital natives. So, I'd like you to start from this point. Number one, this digital economy, what the government is doing about it. And number two, as you finish on your submission in a minute or three, also tell us what the government spokesperson does, the Office of the Government Spokesperson does. Some of them are very good spokespersons here. Na mara mingi wanatulazimisha wanataka microphone waongee kwa bidii sana. We would love to have such like government spokesmen in future. So just quickly, and then so that then we run without a little bit of interruptions. After you are done, I'll bring in Professor Machuki, please. In just 3 minutes, you talk about SHIF and SHA, and then we will go and pick questions. Doris, you will prepare to tell us about the issues you want as a young woman in leadership. What are the areas you want to be helped in to help your leadership journey? Director Faith Nora, you tell us about how to access youth fund. I'm talking about as you respond to questions, have that at the back end. Then we will come back, of course, to James Maina later on, responding to your questions. So once he's done, Professor Machuki, and then we pick questions. I've taken time to remind you that way, and I need to tell you this. I tell audiences every time that when Professor Machuki spoke about funding, it's about you paying fees, right? Si unajua kulipa karo? Hello? Si unajua kulipa karo? So if you don't pay attention, even if you pay fees, you don't pass your exams. I say that because we are going to open up this session and you will be asking questions. If you don't pay attention, you will be asking questions that they've responded to. So write your question, think through, listen and prepare so that then you don't go back to what they've already spoken. Karibu Joshua. And then the other microphones can start. We can have ushers prepping and being ready.
Thank you very much, Maliba. Comrade Power. Thank you so much for hosting us here. I'm happy to see the young people in this hall. Thank you, SG, and Treasurer for bringing them here. As you have heard, my name is Joshua Rapsang. I'm the Director of Public Communication at the Office of the Government Spokesperson, which is in the Office of the Executive, which is in the Executive Office of the President. So our government is so mindful about the youth of this country. As Maliba said, yes, we are all gone into a digital way. As I can see, I've been seeing here when you are singing and the rest, everybody was on phone, at least taking something. I don't know if it is TikTok and the rest. That means a lot that we are on that digital way. The government is doing a lot in that line. Every constituency, as we talk, around 274, almost all, but now 274 already have digital hubs. These are places where youths, Gen Zs, students, even people who are just at home and you wish to do something online, you just visit that center, do your work there. There is free internet, there are computers there, do your job, go home, and like now in issues of health, as somebody will talk about it, you can go to some of those places and register, because these are in our constituencies and they are for us. Gitume hubs and Ajira centers, which are mostly now domiciled in most of the colleges in Kenya. As our Office of Government Spokesperson, we have been visiting most of them. We were in Harvest in March, and I can assure you, your colleagues are earning a lot of money working online while studying. People are earning dollars. Some of them have said they have even paid their rent. They are not now requiring money from their parents. Somebody is saying how? Just go to Jitume Center, they are there. Free computers, free internet. What you need to go, just get there and register yourself. Surely you will get the online jobs. You have seen our president traversing the whole world, trying to get jobs for you people. Some of those jobs are online jobs. And I can assure you, yes, I saw a guy who says he has started even chicken poultry farm at home, still studying, but he has a poultry farm coming from the earnings from Jitume Center at Harvest. Another one has treated the mother who has been very sick. The father could not afford, but because of that money she has been earning, she has been able to do it. So there are many things that are happening on the issue of digital. The government, through the digital highway, super highway, and creative economy, has introduced that, and they are in our colleges, they are in our constituencies, as I have said, the digital hubs. It's up to you to go there and work. Most of us would wish to go abroad, which is very good, to work. But you know, some of those works are here. How does it feel that you wake up from your bed in your house, go get into your computer, do your job, get your earnings into your phone, and you are still in your area? Haujashughulika na mambo sijui ya passport, sijui mambo ya ndege kupanda, umeimalizia yote kwako. You get your money at home. Is that not good enough? So those ones are there. What we need to do is just to appeal to your leaders, especially the MPs, because digital hubs are supposed to be in every constituency in Kenya. Appeal to them. And the president has said they get a house for the hub, the government will supply computers and internet. So digital is the way. As in the office of government spokesperson, our main job is to highlight what the government is doing. We go to a place, look at what the government is doing, we tell you, we amplify what the government is doing. We listen to you. What you are saying, we also tell you to the government, and things will work. So for us, that is the main thing we do. We have had so many of you. You have given your cries, especially issues like the new education model, funding model. The president is listening. The government is listening. This is a listening government. Since that time of Gen Z's, you woke us up, and I believe you have seen a lot of changes. The government is listening. Yeah, we are listening, continue speaking respectfully, and we will listen and act, because we are all Kenyans. Some of you are our children. I think, yeah, they are, because I have somebody 22 years, should be here. Yeah. So you are here, we listen to you. We just talk respectively to all of us, we listen. And I'm happy that this thing has come through the party UDA, the comrade chapter, bringing you all together across the country for us to tell you what the government is doing. So the Office of Government Spokesperson is open. Us is to say what the government is doing. If just to let you and differentiate for you to understand, we have State House spokesperson. That one is talking issues president. We talk issues government. That is the two offices. Kwa sababu wengine wanasema kwa nini ofisi mbili? Si huyo anatosha, atoshi kwa sababu yule ni mambo ya president na shughuli zake, anaenda wapi, anafanya nini? Sisi ni ya serikali. So kama kuna kitu unaona mahali, tell us. We will come and we will tell the officers in government that are responsible that this one is happening. Wakenya wanataka hivi na watafanya. Let me stop there because of time. We will continue answering more questions. Thanks, Maliba.
Thank you very much. He spoke about two offices of communication, the spokesperson at the State House, and then of course government spokesperson. He forgot one very important spokesperson, and that is the Secretary General of the United Democratic Alliance. He is in charge of all matters politics. He speaks everything politics. So hiyo usisahau harapsang ama tutakuita ingine. Anyway, having said that, Professor Machuki, you will have a lot of time when they ask questions. Just go through Chief briefly, and then Nora, I'll give you 2 minutes so that I allow the comrades to speak. I'll give you 2 minutes to talk about how to access youth fund. Then we open up the floor. So kama uko na swali, anza kufikiria. Ashas, you can move around. I'll be coming down there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Allow me to expand my comment so that I preempt a number of issues. One, I will briefly talk about the government's transformation through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Number two, I am in the agricultural zone, so I want to delve into dealing with one of the pillars of the plan, that is agriculture. Then I will finish with that pillar, the universal health coverage. Allow me to say this, that the current administration is the first one after the Kanu regime that is managing the economy using its manifesto as an economic blueprint. Some other previous governments, they come up with a manifesto, then they develop a policy document for the management of the economy. The Gachagua'S administration has its manifesto, that is the government policy, and it is the plan that the government is using to manage the economy. Why bottom-up economic transformation agenda? The strategic intent of His Excellency the President anchors the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. What is the intent? The President intends to entrench the implementation of the Constitution. The second intent is to institutionalize politics, moving from personal-based, tribal-based tribal politics to issue-based politics. You can attest that ever since the Gachagua'S administration took over, it is now conversation about the cost of living. It is conversation about the new funding model. It is conversation around health and the universal health coverage. It is conversation about taxes and the politics of governance. It is a transformation that was intended and that is at the core. The last principle that anchors the intent of His Excellency the President is democratization of the economy. All of us have witnessed the dominance of those who are the capital owners in the management of the economy. The economy has been brought to the masses at the bottom of the pyramid through programs that promote the micro, small, and medium enterprises, decriminalizing business, and therefore giving everybody a chance to play in the economic growth of this country. I thought that if you access the better plan, you will be able to see those key principles that are elucidated in the President's opening remark in that plan. Entrenching the Constitution, implementation of the Constitution, democratization of the economy, and institutionalization of politics. In that plan, therefore, analysis
found out that there are key issues that are of concern to the economy, and they became the priority areas that this government intends to deal with through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. 1, lowering the cost of living. Number 2, ending unemployment. And that is where now the youth come in. Number 3, dealing with the foreign exchange imbalance. And that is where in agriculture I will be talking about reducing imports, increasing exports, and there is an aspect of labor migration to enable the diaspora remit more for the economic development of the country. Number 4 is about enhancing or broadening the revenue base. You will realize that when men are brought into the fold to play actively in the economic growth and in the economic activities, then you broaden the revenue base so that government gets resources to fund its programs. And that is why there was a response to the call that many people were held captive in the most famous predatory lenders, those digital lenders that will give you some credit, you fail to pay, they blacklist you, you are cajoled into an economic purgatory where you do not have any other way that you can access credit. And number 5, inclusive growth. So bottom up means that everybody at the bottom of the economic pyramid is brought into the fold. That is where equity comes in. We have talked about education. We have talked about health. We will talk about health. That everybody must be brought into the fold, leaving no one behind. Those are the principles. And for the turnaround, the quick turnaround in addressing the cost of living, in looking at unemployment, in looking at revenue-based expansion, and so forth, 5 pillars form the core towards dealing with those issues. The first one is agricultural transformation. The second one is micro, small, and medium enterprise development. The third is affordable housing. The fourth is digital, super, highway, and the creative economy. And the fifth is universal health coverage. No wonder those 5 form the focus of the president. But we realized that they need to be enabled. So if you go through the plan, you will find manufacturing, you will find ICT, you will find education, you will find governance, and you will find climate change issues there and all that. So in a capstone, you have this plan that forms the basis for policy development and the policy processing. So at the Council of Economic Advisors, we process policy because this particular plan was developed within the context of a perfect storm. The global development in the Ukraine, the COVID-19 pandemic, the geopolitics, and all technological, political, economic developments, the interest rates issues in the US and all other places made it so compulsory and imperative that we have to change the way of managing the economy. I thought it was important that as comrades, you also know that government is run on a policy document, but for that very broad plan to be operationalized, we now process particular policies, we come up with legislation, we come up with institutional arrangements to enable the implementation of that plan. And let me tell you, because it is transformative, it is change-oriented, there is a paradigm shift in the way things are done. And within any context where you introduce change, where you become transformative, where the transformation is so fundamental, you don't fail to face resistance. And this resistance that is coming is actually giving ideas. The resistance could be because of lack of information. The resistance could be because of political inclinations and so forth and so on. So I thought that I needed to put that into perspective. Now, one of the pillars in the plan is universal health coverage. Historically, it has been analyzed that in Kenya, for us to have a robust economic growth, we need to have a health nation. And for those of us who have been wondering, and the conversation and a moderator that you asked, SHA, SHIV, and all that, let me point it out this way. Our Constitution 2010 provided that the government has to provide health to its citizens. It is one of those fundamental rights. And the same Constitution devolved the healthcare system in Kenya. And for a long time, there has been an issue to do with financing. Government has been spending and spent up to 550 billion Kenya shillings. That constitutes 63% in healthcare financing. There is another 20% by the households and another 10% that is contributed by household but through insurance schemes. So annually, a household spends close to around 150 billion from our pockets and so forth and so on. This is a heavy burden. So the universal health coverage comes in to deal with three things. One, access to quality healthcare services. Number two, to ensure that everybody accesses the same quality care. Everybody is what is meant by universal. And when we analyzed, we found out that the issue about financing and the issue about access were major concern. So how did universal health coverage deal with that? For those of you who listened to the president's speech yesterday, he highlighted three things: promotive, preventive, and curative care. At the very beginning, the government intended to ensure that the quality care should start at the community. And at the very community level, government launched the community health promoters, 100,000 of them, kitted them, and then ensured that they go to the households, they take parameters, and they are able to actually treat some conditions that are preventable at household level. To ensure that there is access to health care that the community health promoters are not able to handle, the conditions are then referred to the nearest health facilities at level 1, level 2, and level 3. At this level, we have to deal with two things. One, the medicines, the medical products. Number two, the facilities. And number three, the human resource. In these facilities, or at this level, government takes care of the medical services that are being offered there. Now, how is it made possible? Government, through Parliament, passed a law called Primary Health Care Act. And that mandates the government, both at the national and at county level, to provide health care to Kenyans through capitation to those facilities, level 1, level 2, level 3. Now, to deal with governance issues in the now defunct National Health Insurance Fund, government enacted through Parliament another law called the Social Health Insurance Act. This one is so structured in such a manner that it encapsulates, it gets everybody into the fold. The national, the NHIF that is now defunct used to focus on, one, those that are employed through payroll system. And therefore it could only be able to offer insurance services to those that are employed and they can contribute through the payroll. Number two, the ordinary Kenyans who will contribute, we used to have those contributing 500 and so forth. They used to do what we called adverse selection. For those of you who remember, and it is here that you can attest, you will find that it was not consistent. People will start contributing when they are sick. You get admitted, somebody pays and backdates the payment so that they are able to access the services. So it is called adverse selection. We then realized that for us to make everybody contribute continually, it has to be mandatory. So there are those that are not able to contribute, and those are the indigents, government contributes for them. For those that are in the informal sector and are not in the formal payroll system, we have a package. And the government talks about 2.75 of the gross income, and that is determined by the means testing instrument. Initially, it was a payroll person in a family. Right now, it is household contribution, right? And then there are those who will contribute from the blue and white collar jobs. Blue collar jobs are those in the private sector who are employed, white collar in the government and so forth. So when you look at all that, the Social Health Insurance Act, housed in the Social Health Authority, over and above that, government thought it wise to introduce two more funds. The Primary Health Care Fund, I've talked about it, that deals with level 1, level 2, level 3, and then the Critical and Emergencies the fund for those that whose conditions are beyond and they are critical, the cancers and so forth, they go to that level. They are referred to level 6 and so forth. So that act, called the Social Health Insurance Act, what you now call the SHIF, it is housed under the Social Health Authority that administers two more other funds to take care of different illnesses at the different levels. The Primary Health Care Fund, government takes care of it. The Social Health Care Fund is contributory and it is mandatory. Then the Critical Health and Emergencies Fund is also by government. So that tells you that this government takes health care matters seriously. To deliver that, because we realize that in the NHIF, the claims were being manufactured. You find a small chemist registered under NHIF as a level 5 facility. So there is an employee, somebody in NHIF colluding with those and scrupulous health facilities to defraud the government through fictitious claims. I told you last time that there is evidence that some facility will have names of men who have given birth. Right? You will find a facility so small than KNH having done 120 amputations. And all those are processed. Because of that, we dealt with the issue of governance. So, the Digital Health Act took away the human intervention in claims management, risk management, and the claims processing to a digital superhighway. From the time a doctor prescribes to the time everything is done, it is in a system that is very robust, and that is where the issue of false and fictitious claims are now being handled. The last one, Pana Moderator, so that I finish, is an act that ensures the sustainability and the quality of the services offered by the health facilities level 1, level 2, and level 3, and that is called the Healthy Facilities Financing Act. This one ring-fences the user fee that is collected by these facilities to be used to improve the facilities themselves. And these facilities are under county governments. You discover that many times the user fees collected in these facilities is used elsewhere to do a road, to do a bridge, to do some gate somewhere, and it was never, the resources were never ring-fenced to develop the quality of the instruments and the facilities in these particular institutions. And that is why that particular act was necessary. So, when you want to talk about universalizing healthcare delivery, that is what is meant to universalize. Everybody has access to quality healthcare. Now, let me say this as I close. There has been challenges in transitioning from NHIF to SHIF. The reason is that for the facilities that were empaneled in NHIF, they are supposed to be empaneled by SHA, and they are supposed to sign contract purposes of ensuring that they agree to offer quality of service at the same rate to everybody who accesses these facilities. Previously, you will only know that somebody who is able can only go to Nairobi Hospital or Aga Khan and so forth. If you access Nairobi Hospital, if you access KNH, if you access MTRH, if you access Yamaj Health facility where I belong, the quality of treating, the quality of healthcare in terms of the cost of treating malaria, for example, the treatment you are given should be a package that is the same for a senior government official, for a household at the very low level in society, and that is at the core of this universal health coverage. Quite a lot of it, a lot of issues in there, but in the coming weeks, there will be full transition. And as the President pointed out yesterday, it is going to revolutionize healthcare service delivery in this country. I have been able to now differentiate what an NHIF was, what SHA is, and what SHA, SHIF, and all those issues are. But more importantly, also, because we are in the digital economy, Bwana Moderator, I want to encourage the comrades use that available resource to go into the Ministry of Health website and go to SHA website and also make sure that you look through those acts of parliament, the law and the policies in there. And I hope that all of us have been encouraging our households to register in SHA through *147#. Thank you very much. Asante sana.
Thank you, Prof. Clap for him. You know, Professor Machuki can only do it the way a professor can do. We asked him to tell him about SHA and SHIF. He did it from principles and foundations, the framework, the history, the philosophy, until we've gotten there. He's done it so well. Let's give him a proper clap for that. Now, I had promised the Director Youth Fund to actually respond, but looking at how people feel like, I'll give her the first response once you ask questions, and I'll love you to actually pay attention to what I'm going to say. We will pick the first round of 9 questions. 3, 1, 2, 3, then here in the middle, 1, 2, 3, then here, 1, 2, 3. Now, listen. A question is a minute. You are 700. I cannot afford to give you more than that. For a comment, I can be fair enough and give you 1.5 minutes, a maximum of 2, if it's building or feeding in. If you want to talk about a complaint or any other thing, you write it on a paper and you give me. I'll complain on your behalf, so that then we enrich the conversation. Comrades, power. The whole essence of town halls is to have policy conversations. If you want to riot, there are places out there, the Constitution allows you to do it elsewhere, right? If you have got elsewhere, there are other things to be done. So, policy conversations should be had in a way that enriches, and it depends. So, allow me, for purposes of being fair and equitable, to only give 1 question per person, and I'll repeat 1. When I say that, and you show up with a paper written, I'll give you a chance, but I'll cut you midway. Just be fair to other people. However passionate you are, take 1 question. See you tumelewana, so that we move freely. So, Faith Nora, you will be the first person to respond after the first questions and take the first 2 minutes to talk about how to access Youth Fund. I'll grant you that. So, where are the ushers? Tuanzie nyuma, so that I get a question there, a question here, and a question here. Ushers? If you want to ask a question, you raise your hand. So we start here, your name, the institution, and the question or the comment.
Thank you. I'm Wekesa Chesoni Titus. I'm the Secretary General, University of Eldoret. My question, I will combine it. The SHA, SHIF, and all that. We used 104 billion to do the transition of that particular thing. Why was it such a big amount not to be used in improving the NHIF? Then our SD is here.
No.
Wait.
Clap for him.
I've just
1 question per person.
I've shortened the.
Wewe ni kiongozi, question moja. Get the microphone to the next person, please. Fair enough. Get me. Cut the microphone. Comrades, power! Comrades, power! Nikipeana instructions tunasonga pamoja. Hello? Because all of you want to talk, right? Sindio?
Okay.
Okay. You've asked a question, you can repeat the same note too. To be fair, do not try and scandalize this. You are my younger brother, I asked 1 question and I'll stick to that.
Comrades, wisdom. Comrades, wisdom. Comrades, wisdom. I was to talk about funding model, but
it's fine.
Respect you.
Get me the mic. The next person here, I want us to be fair to other people. Next question. Here, where are you? Get the mic. Get me. Tukue tu fair. Swali moja ama comment moja.
Comrades, power! Comrades, power! My name is Ian Limo, and I'm a student at Moi University. I have 1 question that touches my profession. You have clearly highlighted that there are digital hubs, but as we all know, all of us cannot work in digital hubs. At the moment, according to Kenyan labor laws, no one is allowed to work without fair remuneration. As we speak at the moment, we have 1,300 youths who are medical interns who've been working for 3 months without pay. It's taken almost a year for the government to solve this situation and it has not solved it. My question is this: how long does the government want to take in solving these issues? There can never be healthcare without healthcare workforce. However much you bring shift or anything, it will not solve anything unless we have the doctors who are going to treat those patients.
Thank you. As brief as that and as straight to the question as possible. Ushers, you are to help me, please. I need somebody on that end. Kindly, we go to the other end. Ushers. Okay.
Okay, comrades, power. So my name is Ngetich Cheribo from Moi University. I've been in school for 7 years, but currently my 5th year because of the perennial strikes in Moi University. Now, my question goes to Professor Machuki. You said that since the inception of the new funding model, which has been in existence for 2 years now, money has been able to be channeled to universities, and those that were almost being declared insolvent are now picking up. Now, my question is, why not Moi University?
Thank you. No, thank you. Get me that mic. On this end, I need somebody this line. Alafu tutasonga hapa katikati so that as many people as possible can get a chance. Anybody speaking on this line? Who's that? Okay. End up mbele. Okay. Your name, the institution, and the question or the comment.
Okay, mine is a comment. And comrades, akamuuliza mama, umepika mboga gani? Akamuuliza mama, umepika mboga gani? Akaambia mama, sikuwa nataka sedebe. Nilikuwa nataka? Sana compliment. Tukamuuliza WSL, amepika mboga gani? Akatuambia help. Help. Tukamwambia WSR, hatutaki help. Tunataka nini?
Thank you very much. A question here. Ushers, please. You stand. Your name, the institution. Clap for that guy. He said a heavy point. Piga hiyo makofi. Kama hujaelewa nitakufafanulia.
Yes, my name is Enoch Oduor. I'm a student at Moi University. I'm currently taking medical laboratory sciences. I'm in my 5th year, but that course should be 4 years. On NFM, Prof, I have a question that, percentage always increases on valuation of byproduct. That means that 3% of 100,000 is not 3% of 600,000. Our courses in medical field are very expensive. So when you say 3% and you multiply, it's very expensive. So the student taking Bachelor of Science in Medicine and Surgery, nursing, they will end up with loans that they might not finish as early as they are employed. So what about that on percentage multiplication on courses that are very expensive? Thank you.
Thank you. That is a Pigia makofi. Hiyo swali ni nzito. I love to go back on the other side so that we get people on this end. Ushers, tafadhali mnisaidie ushers. I want a lady from this place, if there is a lady. Okay, if there's no lady here, can I have a lady here? There's a lady there. There's a lady there. Men are busy mansplaining on the other side. We have a lady talking on the other side. Get that lady over there, please. Let's move. Get her. So that we flow. Nitakusort. Kuja. Nitakusort. Kuja. Kuja ukaya hapa. Mimi nitakusort. I think you are my little brother. How can I miss to sort you? Sit here. Sit here.
As I had stated, I'm Chesang Samoya. I'm a student from Uasin Gishu County, but at Kenyatta University also. As we've gathered here, we came knowing that it's comrade-based. So I don't suggest any point that party is talking on comrade-based matter specifically. The thing that the party has addressed to us, it's matters of the national government. Tumeambiwa story ya SHA, story ya HELP, story ya affordable housing. In as much as those are the priorities, those are not the priorities for the comrades.
Thank you.
I want the party to address to us vitu kama postponement of grassroots elections. Comrades tulikuwa tumejiregister, tumesacrifice pesa yetu, haijakuwa addressed. Secondly, relax.
One, no.
Secondly,
no. Nope. Nope. Relax.
Secondly, no,
nope.
We are progressing, Bwana.
Nope.
Secondly,
don't
we
shout.
Want the to tell us
don't,
what have they done
don't
to
shout.
empower students.
Raise
leadership.
your point. Raise your point. Don't raise your voice. Raise your point. I proceed. Yes. Kata mic. We will move na mpangilio. Sindio? Comrades power. Comrades power. Comrades power. Nataka tuendelee na mpangilio. We said one issue, one question. So, how many, are you done with the issue? No, one. One. I want to give another lady. One. Another lady? Another lady? Get me another lady. Proceed. Get that mic.
Comrades power. Ladies in the house, hello. Men in the house, hi. Sawa sawa, naona mambo inachemka, lakini wacha tuulize hizi issues. She is right by asking where our issues as comrades are being they're evaluated. Kwa hivyo mimi nauliza maswali ya SHA. I walked into an hospital last week. I was feeling unwell. Nimelemewa. Kufika huko nikaambiwa NHIF haifanyi. Niende level 1, level 2, level 3 hospital. Now my question is, the reason as to why I chose the hospital that I walk into, because I had selected when I was using NHIF, it is because of the services na mambo ya haraka haraka. Then unanituma kwa hospitali ya level 1, level 2, level 3, ambayo congestion iko pale, hakuna madawa. Swali langu ni, what is the government doing to avoid issues ambazo tunaona kama ya Mama Lucy? Mama wanalala chini, people are sick, people are unwell. Nikienda pale nikae kwa bench, hakuna dawa, madaktari hawako. What is the government doing to improve those hospitals ambazo mnatutuma kule? Because comrade hana any. Ataenda ile Huruma hospital, kufika pale akae kwa bench. Mpaka saa ngapi? What is the government doing on that?
Thank you very much. Clap for her. I will have Professor Machuki respond to that. I'm looking for ladies. And while you are here, there's a reason I said that even if you pay fees and you don't pay attention, you will not pass your exams. When we spoke about the new funding model, was it about government priority? It was about comrades. When we spoke about the opportunities in the housing finance, what was it about? It was about comrades. So you don't just come and pioneer. So come. Kuja. We've agreed with you, right? I'm so firm. So say
1 minute.
1 minute.
Yes. Can I fix all those questions?
No. Just go with one. Now refer.
Let's go into.
No. One.
I got one for my Chuki.
Run. One.
Comrade power. So I have one question. Nimeambiwa ni one question. My question goes to, I concur with my sister. There's nothing that has been talking about comrades. So my question is, employment, apart from the housing, affordable housing, and job from abroad, what does the government has for a fresh comrade studying education in Moi University? Do you expect that student to go to Mujengo? What does the government has for these people not Mujengo on affordable housing, not jobs abroad. We want to talk, what does the government do to give a pay slip to these people, not send me to Mujengo 450 and I'm studying for 1 million. Point number two, briefly, about funding model. You said the old funding model, the government saw that they could not afford to pay the 80%. My question is, where are they getting the money to give us loans in form of scholarships? If they could not fill the 80%, pesa inatoka wapi sai?
Anyone who remembers his name? Say Majina.
My name is Seth Keegan, University of Eldoret student.
Pigia makofi. Now. I need a lady here, and then we answer that, then we come to round 2.
Comrades, I'm not a student. I finished my college 2 years ago, but I have a question. No, I'm still a student.
Comrades power. Hii ni ya comrades, si ndio? Hii ni ya comrades, si ndio? Haya basi. Nataka uende swali moja. Haya tumsikize. Comrades power. Comrades disperse.
Comrades power. So my point is, you know, as we come from our institutions, there is some of the certain expectation. We need to talk to the ruling party so that they can work on our issues. If you limit us to one question, then definitely if we
ask the question.
Let me now ask a question.
I'll give you the second.
I have three concerns. As much as we are talking matters, youth comrades, Kenya, yes. We as the North Rift comrades also, we have our own issues that we feel like it needs to be addressed. The first issue, number one, we have the questions which we raise in the cassetted new funding model committee. Of 129 students selected, one student representation from the North Rift. As you can see, these comrades, can they be represented with only one representation
There's
of the
one.
students? The second concern.
Pole, so that we clarify. There's only one.
The second concern.
Relax. Nataka tuende pole, so that we move with them.
Okay. The second concern. Yesterday we were following. Yes. Yesterday we were following the Mashujaa Day, and we heard there was a representation of 60 student representation to launch the supposed student accommodation. How many of you were among those who went to Kwale to represent the North Rift? Anyone? No one. Secondly, at least you have done a very good thing to bring us together. We as the North Rift students, starting from the sides of the Trans Nzoia Kitale to the end of Baraton University, all the way to Iten, we are going to march and we are going to request for our representation. Should the government not consider us? Many a times we are in the bedroom, but I feel like we should go to kitchen, we should go to sitting room, because that's where the people are eating at. So, my second concern, now to the professor.
That's number 4.
Yes, now to the professor. Concerning the affordable housing. Behind University of Eldoret, we have the ongoing project. And my students have been going there to tour the project. Can you organize for us at least 20 students to maybe be given an opportunity even to do the forward work, so that we can reduce the number of comrades in Amaring? Wanafunzi wangu wanainama, and if you give a chance of 50 students, then possibly we are going to reduce the number.
Thank you.
The last one.
That is number 5. You asked for 3.
The last one.
You asked for 3. Fair, to fair. You asked for 3. I've given you 4. You metosha. A lady, I want a lady. I love to respond. A lady. Wanaume mmeongea sana, I need a lady. Nitakupatia round 2. Kwanza wewe ni mtu wa timu yangu, nitakupea. Okay. Your name, your institution, and the question.
Comrades power. My name is Mercy Daisy, a student at KU. Niko na swali moja tu na naendelea kuinsist. Where is our place? Kwa hii table tuko wapi? Kwa hii table kwa hii UDA tuko wapi kama comrades?
Asante.
Ya pili, please. NFM. The prof has talked, ameongea mingi, ameinject, has left us completely confused, right? Atuelewi, atuget, because ukituambia maneno ya band 1 to 5, are you trying to kujaribu kutufanya tusikie vibaya?
Okay, that is number 2. Thank you. What college do you come from?
I come from RVTTI. Allow me to express. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm clarifying something. It was a comment, so it's like 1 minute, okay? Thank you. Number 1, you see these comrades are very angry, and they told you very early in the morning. So these people, they need facilitation and refreshments such that they get energy to inject and reject what they don't deserve. The second thing is leadership. You see, student leadership in UDA, they are taking puppets and then they brand them the leadership of comrades from all campuses only to users. We will not allow that one. Then on the other thing, you've had several comrades who are here are from Moi University. And Moi University, we have not learned for now like 2 months. And these people, I want them to use the same speed they use in impeaching the Deputy President regarding Gachagua to solve the issues of Moi University. We will not allow that one. We will not allow that one. Then on the last thing, the new funding model, Mr. Professor. You say you are in the presidential advisory team. The president on the new funding model, can you tell these comrades that a student studying education who is going to earn 35 to 40,000 is going to have a whooping loan of up to $500,000, earning 30,000 and a loan of $500,000? Are you going to pay the fees? Are you even going to survive? Are you going to build a home for your family? Are you going to change your life? Bwana, it is time to reject this thing. We are not
Please clap for him. Clap for him. Now, I want you to give me your ears. It takes courage to stand up and say the things these people are saying. So mtu akiongea umpigie makofi. Wewe umenyamaza kwa nini? Auongei na upigi makofi. I'd like to bring the treasurer, Honorable Nyakundi, to respond first. Then I'll bring the SG, then I'll bring the panel and pick the second round. So tulia.
Comrades power, comrades power, comrades wisdom, comrades wisdom. A breakup should not find you single. Sindio? Lakini comrades munachocha. Comrades munachocha. Munachocha. But let me appreciate you first of all for the questions that you've asked. Some are very difficult questions. Some are easy questions, but I believe we are all here because we believe that as the UDA party, we should forge ahead as a team. Someone has asked us, where are you as comrades? The reason we started this comrades chapter is because we wanted to make sure that we involve the comrades from everywhere within this country. We've been in Nairobi, we've been in Kisumu, we've been in Nakuru, right now we are in Eldoret, we have been in Mombasa, and we are going the entire country to make sure that comrades are involved in leadership and in governance of the UDA party. And all these comrades that you're seeing here leading this team, these are university students from the entire country which are constituted in making sure that we lead the comrades chapter the entire country. So, hawa wanaongoza hii kitu, hakuna mapuppet hapa. These are your colleagues and you're the ones who elected them in different universities. Number 2, tulieni, wacheni pressure. Tulieni. Number 2, we believe out of this comrades chapter, This is where we got so many people into leadership from the university. A good example is our Secretary General, Hassan Omar, who is seated here today. He was a student leader at Moi University, and I am going to give him, he's going to talk the issue about Moi University and the issues that are going on there, and we will not allow Moi University to go down, because this is one of the most prestigious universities in this country. So hii issue ya Moi University lazima tutaisolve, si ndio? Because we believe Moi University has brought up leaders. A good example is SG Hassan Omar. Our chair, Cecil Barire, was also a student leader. Akina Babu Owino were student leaders. So we believe out of this, many of you will be members of parliament. Many of you will be CEOs. Many of you will be governors. Many of you will be in the governance issues of this country and in the center of the governance of this country. That is the reason we are here today. Someone has asked about the grassroots elections. As you know, most of you had paid for the grassroots elections. But because of so many issues, the GNZ came up, so many other issues came up. We believe from, I think, January, we will go back to the elections that we had already planned, and your money will not go in vain. And I want to encourage each and every one of you, take part in these elections, be part of the party, because this party belongs to you and me. Let us make sure that we build this party. And out of these grassroots elections, tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, you are going to be the MCAs in your regions. You are going to be senators in your regions. You're going to be governors and members of parliament in your region. And I am telling you this today. Personally, I was elected at 33 years old. This party, so many people wanted to be given the ticket of UDA. But someone believed in me. Someone held my hand. Someone walked with me. I am the first person to be in the executive of the party as a first-time member of parliament, being a treasurer. What I'm telling you this today, believe in yourself, trust yourself, believe in yourself. The UDA party does not favor anyone. As long as you are there and you get everything right, the UDA party will hold your hand. Personally, Dr. William Samoei Ruto held my hand. I knew nobody. I had no godfather, but God the Father, through William Ruto, held my hand and made me the treasurer of a ruling party. So what I want to tell you today, comrades, always trust and believe in yourself. There was one issue that I am very passionate about, but the people of NEA are not here today. The National Employment Authority are not here today. I'm very passionate about NEA, National Employment Authority, because the president has signed so many bilateral labor agreements, jobs that are abroad. I know not all of us can get jobs within the country, but any opportunity that comes up, especially in the National Employment Authority, it is a good chance for us as young people to also look for those opportunities and go abroad. But I know there has been an issue, especially here in Rift Valley, especially on the first choice and the Finland issue, which I think National Employment Authority was supposed to be here so that we address that issue, because so many young people have lost money out of institutions or agencies that take their money, eat their money, and these young people don't get an opportunity to go outside there and study. And personally, I'm very passionate about NEA, and I really wanted them to be here, but Professor Machuki is here. Kindly, I request you to address the issue of NEA and how the young people who spent their money, who their parents sold their properties, sold their cows, sold their land so that they can take students abroad, but someone somewhere took their money and they are here not very favorable on that issue. So I believe that we should work together, and as a party, we will make sure that we mentor the young people of this country, because they are the leaders of today. Asanteni sana, na kutoka hapa tuna transact. Transact! Comrades, transact! Treasurer hawezi kwa hapa na SG kwa hapa alafu mkose transaction. God bless you. Mungu awa bless, jamaa.
Asante sana. Comrades, power. Comrades, power! Many years back, kutoka Mombasa, I traveled by bus to come to Eldoret to join Moi University way back in 1995. I did not know then that Moi University and the great city of Eldoret was going to be the beginning of my political career in this country. It is for that reason today that we have decided, in the same vein and in the same breath, that once upon a time, when a platform was created for us to engage government, it is today for that reason, myself, my brother Aaron Cheriot, my sister Cecily Mbarire, who together we lead the UDA party, who are all students' leaders, decided that we must engage the comrades directly. I am grateful for one thing today before the Almighty God, that in you, the conversation in this country must shift. With the same passion, you must discuss healthcare, you must discuss the new funding model, we must discuss agriculture, we must discuss everything. We must shift the conversation from ethnicity to issues. And that's what the Kenya Kwanza government has tried to do. Nyote, hapa, hakuna mtu amezungumza kabila yake, hakuna mtu aliyezungumza kikao chake, ama kule anatoka. Nyote mlizungumza yale malalamishi na zile issues that affect you directly. And for that we are extremely grateful. Number two, I want to assure you, this platform is not a platform in futility. It will not be in vain. One or two of you came with a good idea. And they came to the UDA Secretariat to say, under the leadership of Brian and others, that it is important to create a platform to engage the youth directly, particularly students in institutions of higher learning. They are not puppets, they are not sellouts, they simply came with a good idea that we embraced. That good idea, sometimes you might come with a good idea, but other people might improve it for you. There will be an opportunity for Brian and Deborah and everybody else who sit in the governing council, that within these students, they will ask that those who they elect democratically for you to pave way as interim officials. That is something that would happen in due course, and eventually it must happen. But first and foremost, we must finish our circuit all over Kenya. We have 4 or 5 more town halls to go, so that we are more representative in terms of the conversation. Finally, I was very excited. That young lady who spoke there is actually going to be a leader. Her only question was, how do I take over this party? Bona mumesema bona election haziendelei. It is the pragmatic thing to do. For you to capture power, you must be in institutions that compete for power. They manifest themselves in political parties. So hata kama uko na ari nyingi, hata kama uko na changamoto nyingi, if you do not anchor your effort in political organizations, those that are established, those that you will establish, your effort is in vain. That's why you don't need to be leaderless, you don't need to be faceless, some of you need to emerge as the leaders of those organizations. Now this is not only the present, the UDA is conscious that the future of this country and the present of this country, of this party, is within the youth. And for that reason, the elections as suggested or proposed will proceed, hopefully from January. Moving forward, we will proceed with the elections. Those of you ambao wanataka uongozi, kuchaguliwa ndani ya chama na kuchaguliwa katika nyadhifa tofauti, the party will hold free and fair elections, so that hata hii kiti ya SG, hata hii kiti ya treasurer, hata hii kiti ya chairperson, zote will be up for grabs. So therefore, it will be for us to compete or for you to win these seats. We are only holding this party in trust for you, so that once the grassroots elections are concluded, those who will be elected popularly will represent this party and take it to the next level. Finally, I think I'm happy that these men and women here have taken the courage to come and face the questions in terms of a town hall. The most effective, tested, and trusted avenue of direct democracy is through town halls. We will continue to have these town halls, no matter how emotional they are, no matter how sometimes anxious they become, because it is not in our interest to stage manage these things. It is our interest to hear and to hear an honest conversation from the youth of this republic, represented by the cream who sit in institutions of higher learning. Lastly, hata kama yule alisema mtu fulani alitolewa haraka, wajua sasa deputy president anatoka Moi University, yule anaingia SG ya chama anatoka Moi University. Hiyo Moi University haiwezi kwenda mahali, itabakia tu. Because I will not have a degree in my office that has no institution. Si mimi nimeweka hapo degree na ile foundation of knowledge. My life was largely in Keses and Cheptiret. I believe the university, and Professor Bachuki will explain that, the whole idea was to ensure that universities are made sustainable. Mimi nilikuwa at the same time at the university, Moi University, na Professor Machuki. Professor Machuki was studying economics, I was studying law. He made the right decisions, I didn't. In a light touch. Professor remembers very well, at that time, Professor used to get 40,000 in student loan through the Higher Education's Loans Board. I used to get 18,000. Sijui kwa nini walinipa 18,000, lakini mimi pia nilijihisi ni maskini. Lakini it is because of the information we provided. Niliandika iko kanyumba kadogo, babangu ali inherit. So ikanipeleka credit yangu ikawa juu. Nikaandika niko na kitu nyingine kidogo, ni watu mama ako naye, ikapeleka credit yangu juu. Labda Professor Machuki aliandika hakuna nyumba, hakuna kazi, hakuna chochote. Ikasema yeye hapa yote, mimi nikanyimwa nusu. So we need to have a way that we engage to ensure that this system is foolproof. Hata katika ulimwengu, Professor usema kila siku, there are haves and have-nots. Kuna wale ni matajiri. Wale matajiri hawawezi kupatiwa ufadhili wa serikali na kuasi maskini apate elimu. We must be a just and equitable society. A just and equitable society means we must have social justice to make those who are worse off better off before those who are better off become well off. And that's what we must do. We must put money to ensure that we bridge the deficit in healthcare, we bridge the deficit in education, we bridge the deficit in housing, so that those who are less fortunate are made to have a dignified life and to be given a fighting chance. And the only equalizer in society, the reason I was in Senate with the son of the former President Daniel Moi was not because of anything else. Outside God, it was because of education. Education is an enabler, education is an equalizer. So we want to ensure kila kijana anapatiwa fursa ya kusoma, so that we are not creating a cadre of lords because they can afford education and creating those of the lower classes because they can't afford education. Na hii serikali yetu campaigned on a platform of giving hope to the hopeless, of giving opportunity to those who are not in the economic prism, a platform of inclusion called the Hustler Agenda. That is the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, which is an inclusive agenda to ensure that there is education opportunities for all Kenyans, the rich and the poor. Kwa hivyo, tafadhalini, tukija kwa hizi town hall, we have come to engage constructively because we are honest, we want honesty, and we have come here today to hear you. Na kijana ndugu yangu hapo, tumekusikia. Kijana pale, tumekusikia. We take notes. Na wale yule mwanadada, tumekusikia. Wanaotaka uchaguzi. Na wale waliosema hakuna student agenda. There is a lot. We have said the new funding model has been the most pressing issue within the students, and that's why Professor Madhuki spoke to it. The housing agenda, to bridge the housing deficit or the accommodation deficit in the universities, has been another. And as we progress, we will come to know more and more of what are the things that we devil, or the things that are of a great concern to you. And finally, the instructions I have from His Excellency the President is to ensure